And it's that time of week again. We're at SpeedX, the home of the Overland Q&A show. We've got quite a special show for us today. 3 nice questions plus the SpeedX tip of the week. So let's get straight into it. From Levi, we enjoy your shows. Thanks, Levi. Really appreciate you watching the show. Keep watching. Wanted to know if it was safe to travel the Wadi Shawka route solo. Now, great question. I think it's a good question to ask before you go out there and go on any of the routes that you might find in the Explorer magazines or the routes that you find on a show. I think it's great to find out what the difficulty is of the route before trying to tackle it on your own. Now, rule of thumb, typically when you are going through the wadis or the mountainous tracks here in the United Arab Emirates especially, going solo is fine. I would, however, recommend that somebody does know where you're going. Make sure that they've got a copy of the route. The coverage is pretty good. I would say 80% of the off-road routes available through the Hajj mountain range here in the United Arab Emirates has got coverage through the preferred mobile suppliers. But carrying satellite or making sure that somebody, if you don't get hold of them within a set amount of time, that they can send somebody out there. But typically the routes through the wadis and the mountain ranges are safe to travel solo. Now, very important, and I have spoken about this before, is that wadi driving. If there are any clouds whatsoever, be extra safe. It might be sunny where you are, cloudy on top of the mountains, and the rain is pushed through or funneled through the wadis, and you could end up with a flash flood. So be mindful. Rule of thumb, go with 2 cars, but it's okay enough for these wadi routes. It's not, the difficulty level is not that high, and you can go on your own. Make sure that you've got enough water, safety, recovery gear, your normal tracks. Hang on, let me get a set of tracks so you know what I'm talking about. And there we go, back again. I love being in the shop and filming these shows over here because I can just run out and get a visual representation. So I believe anybody doing any off-roading in the Middle East or in the United Arab Emirates should be carrying, it doesn't have to be the most expensive brand, but just make sure that you at least have 2 of these, any vehicle, if you're going solo. Once you're going into the desert, I would recommend at least 4 of these. So Levi, as far as Wadi Shawka is concerned, it's absolutely fine to travel solo. Just make sure that you cover the safety options, water, food, and make sure that somebody knows where you are. And if you're not out at a specific time and they're not getting hold of you, they can send somebody to fetch you. Now, the desert, a completely different story. I would not recommend that anybody goes into the desert on their own. I would recommend a minimum of 2 vehicles going into the desert. Absolute must 2 vehicles. Go 3. It's very often that the person gets stuck and you're trying to recover him and both vehicles get bogged down. So dire straits, minimum of 2 vehicles. To be safe, always 3 vehicles in the desert. And once again, carry a set of these. Whichever your preference is, they've got them available over here. And remember, you're going to get your discounts utilizing Expedition Extreme here at SpeedX. So come have a look at their automotive and their camping side to get yourself kitted for that. Levi, I hope that pretty much covers it. Mail me direct as you did, and I will give you more info if you need it. Right, let's move on to our SpeedX tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is probably the most simple piece of equipment that nobody thinks of. Right, our fingers, our digits are probably the most important part of camping. Whether we're repairing vehicles, whether picking up pots around the campfire, we need to protect them. And to protect them either by using welding gloves around the fire, hot pots, you name it, and or nice heavy leather mechanical gloves when you're repairing your vehicle. You can even go as far as getting the tougher surgical gloves when you're doing bearing repair or something like that. So, tip of the week, gloves. And I found something really special over here. It's a little magnetic finger to pick up little nuts and bolts that have fallen into your engine bays. How cool is that? Come down to SpeedX and come have a look what they have. There's your tip of the week. If it's dusty, drive it. I hope you enjoyed that. I can't keep on going on about how much I enjoy the shop. Yes, they sponsor the show. They do not sponsor me any gear whatsoever, but they sponsor the show and we're able to film it over here, which is better for you guys. But I love walking into the shop and seeing they've got this little bundle bin, you know, the value pack bin or specials of the week as you walk in through the front door. And I got in today and look how small this is, a little Bosch screwdriver, and man is it powerful. Got a great special on these this week, and you get the whole kit with it as well. So all the different Phillips and, oh wow, there's hex, there's, oh you name it, Allen key, whole kit with it for free. So when you get in, stop in the front and have a look at the little value box over there or the great value pack, and help yourself to some really well-priced gear. Now, let's move on to the next question. Right, we got a question here from Carl. Hey Carl, can we take bush knives across the border? And he says here in brackets, chainsaw, panga, machete. Right, Carl, I would not suggest carrying any kind of bush knife. Flip knives, I think, as far as, don't quote me on this, I think it is 20 centimeters in total. That'll be a flip knife. Is the maximum that you can. Oh, hang on. Let me see if I can find something in the store for visual representation. And back again. Don't you just love this place? Right, so I couldn't find a machete. They are out of stock of machetes, but let me get to the machetes in a second. So your standard pocket knife, now I think the rule is 20 centimeters in totality on from blade to the actual knife. If anybody knows any different, please let me know. But these are no problem. So something like this, you could get through the border. I carry a bunch of pocket knives with me. I always have one on my person, and then also obviously in my fire kit bag, I have a knife that I can abuse with wood. And then we also carry a couple of knives to take oysters and mussels and open them up. So slightly blunter fishing knives, the whole bang shoot. So I would say I've probably got, in actual fact, the fishing knife I did get from here. Give me a second. Back again. I just remembered. My fishing knife actually comes from Speedex. This is a cheap little 30 dirham knife, and I carry this with me all over the place. So we don't mind abusing the daylights out of them because they're so cheap. So, and there goes the aircon. So excuse the background noise. But these little fishing knives is fixed blade. We have no issues getting these through the border. And like I said, your standard pocket knife, no issues getting them through the border. Now, the funny thing is with the machete or your panga, depending on where you are in the world, they'll have an issue with that. However, I carry one exactly like this in my vehicle. Now, panga would be exactly the same length. It's also covered in the blade, so they never open it up. But I carry one of these saws in just a little wood saw in my vehicle, and I've never had any issue with it. However, when I did carry a panga, it was confiscated. So thinking that the blade length is pretty much the same and it's got the cover, no one can really tell whether it's a saw or not, but I think it's just a lot easier to explain this is purpose built to actually saw wood versus chopping someone's head off. So that's my advice. I would not take a risk. The stuff will be confiscated. So stick to that simple rule. And if anybody can help me out with the exact size on a fixed blade and a pocket knife, please comment below and I will let you all know on that. So Carl, I hope we got that for you. Any further information, just ping us once again and we'll get back to you on that. Final question for the day. From Jalal, can I fit large tires without a lift? Now, okay, so tires. The big old question always, tires. What is your functionality, Jalal? You've got to first and foremost tell me if your functionality is looks only and you're in a Jeep Wrangler or especially a big American pickup, F-150 Ram, Silverado, GMC, you name it. These you could possibly get away with two sizes up, sometimes even 3 sizes up. I know on the F-150 you can go 3 sizes up. On the Silverado, for example, it's got the square wheel arch. You can only go 2 sizes. Now, if it's purely for looks and you're just wanting to increase the size for looks only, no problem. If you're going to go off-road, it's going to rub the vehicle. It's really not going to perform well off-road. Jeep Wranglers, a lot of the guys go and they go 2 sizes up or a size up on the FJ Cruisers as well. But functionality-wise, as soon as you get into a couple of axle benders, if you're going off-road, rocky terrain, or in the desert, you are going to rub really badly. And with a lot of the vehicles, if you're rubbing on the turning circle, it will actually rip the plastic mudguard, or the fender flares will actually rip off, and you'll do some damage to your vehicle. Also, the internal protection, or the engine protection, there's a plastic cover that goes on the inside of the wheel arch, that will get ripped off immediately. So if it's for purely looks and you're driving around on tar road and not doing much off-roading, by all means increase the size of your tires. It will affect obviously your speedometer, it will affect your fuel usage and all that, but what's the compromise if you want your truck to look good? So I hope that kind of helps you out. If you want to go for functionality, you need to put a lift kit. Saying that, in the F-150s, the Rams and the Silverados, you can get away with a 2-inch leveling kit. So it's a standard suspension. Most of the vehicles on an angle like this, you just pick up the front, it's a spacer that goes in the front, and you can get away with 2 sizes tire increase on the vehicle, and it will not rub. The wheel arch in the rear of the F-150 especially is huge. So by lifting the front, you can go up, I think it's to a 315. I'll double check that. We did it for a mate of mine. I've got some footage of his F-150. We just did a leveling kit. We went 2 sizes up with his tires, and he's happy as anything with it. So yeah, simple. What is the functionality? And you'll be able to increase it nonetheless, or do a lift kit, and you'll be able to get the functionality out of it. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back here at SpeedX next week again. Remember to pop down here and have a look at what they've got in the specials box, as well as availing your SpeedX discount by using the Expedition Extreme code, and you'll get 15% off on selected items in the hardware section, as well as automotive, camping, and some of the barbecue stuff. So we'll see you at SpeedX. Pop in, come say hi. Remember, if it's dusty, drive it.